Welcome to Messages from the Universe with Lori Wondra. Lori is an internationally renowned psychic medium, author, and shamanic practitioner, sharing insights from angels, guides, wisdom keepers, and teachers of the universe that help you navigate life's mysteries and transformations.
Hello, I am Lori Wondra, and thank you for listening. Today's episode, I want to solely focus on the eclipses of September because we have two. We have a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse. And this is a particularly intense month because we also have the equinox, the 22nd. So the full moon eclipse is on September 7th. The new moon eclipse is on September 21st, and then we have the fall equinox on September 22nd. So it is a packed month. So I thought I'd spend a little extra time this month talking about the energy impacts. We're all feeling it. The sky opens up and it's dumping energy upon us. And it is no different with the lunar eclipse as that full moon rises in the mystical waters of Pisces. This is no ordinary lunation on September 7th. It is a cosmic crescendo of karmic release, collective surrender, emotional transcendence. It's the final sign of the zodiac. Pisces is the great ocean of spirit. It's the dissolver of boundaries, the dreamer of dreams, the keeper of soul memory. And when the full moon lights up this domain, and especially when eclipsed, we are called into the great tides of closure, awakening, and divine communion. Now, Pisces eclipse holds this huge potential of transformative power, not just personally, but globally. In Western astrology, eclipses are portals. They are agents of change that move us past our egos and into alignment with our soul contracts. Vedic astrology, this lunar eclipse falls in the Purva Bhadrapada, is a mystical star associated with transcendence, purification, and inner alchemy. This is said to bridge the mundane and the mystical. It asks, what must you burn away to rise? In numerology, September 7th of 2025 is an 8 universal day. And that 8 universal day resides within a 9 universal month of September and a 9 universal year. So this 8 brings themes of power, rebirth, karmic reckoning. And the 9s invites endings, humanitarian grace, and spiritual accumulation. Together they weave a sacred finale, the release of old lifetimes and the integration of soul wisdom. So at this eclipse, it activates the Pisces-Virgo axis, and we are asked to find harmony between surrender and service, mysticism and method, intuition and practicality. And the moon in Pisces opposes the sun and Virgo, and that's illuminating the polarity between the invisible and the visible, between the healer and the empath, and between the dreamer and the doer. The moon, which represents our emotions and the subconscious, and astrologically the moon rules our emotions, our intuition and subconscious. It governs the feminine, the receptive, and the nurturing parts of us that feels and remembers. So as much as we've spent lifetimes forgetting how to feel, we are feeling. A lunar eclipse then is not just about an external event. It is an internal upheaval, a stirring of buried memories, forgotten grief, old identities, and unresolved desires. It's lifetimes that are coming to the surface. It's those agreements and karmic contracts that we have that are being shown to be complete. The Earth's shadow crossing the moon becomes a metaphor for our own shadow selves, the parts of us we've disowned, we've denied, we've hidden, we've forgotten, we've tucked away. And yet, this is not a time to fear what arises. It is a sacred opportunity to witness what lies beneath. Many past lifetimes, we didn't have the tools and the knowledge to address or to even heal some of these wounds, but we do in this lifetime. And this moon illuminates, and the lunar eclipse asks us to sit with courage and compassion, to allow old stories to be illuminated by truth, to let any waves of emotion move through us, unblocking what has long been stagnant, to mourn, to reflect, to forgive, to ultimately let go, to move or wash away. Cosmic endings and karmic closures. The lunar eclipses are often associated with endings, but these are not ordinary endings. They are soul-level completions. Relationships may end. Yes. Jobs may be released. Yes. Beliefs may be shattered. Absolutely. But what is truly being eclipsed is not the outer form, but the inner attachment to something that no longer serves our evolution. Sometimes the release is gentle. It's a quiet exhale. It's a restless night. And other times it comes out like a wave, a shift. It's irreversible. But always the eclipse clears space for something truer, wiser, and much more aligned to emerge. It strips away illusion, ego, and avoidance, and it guides us back to our soul essence. In this way, lunar eclipses act as karmic catalysts. They reveal the consequences of our choices, the unhealed patterns we carry from past lifetimes, ancestral lines, or early experiences. What ends under a lunar eclipse often carries a certain fated feeling, as though it was always meant to fall away at this precise moment in time. Now, there is a distinct feminine energy to lunar eclipses, not in gender, but in spiritual archetype. They are not aggressive or directive. They do not push us forward like a solar eclipse does. Instead, they draw us inward. The feminine energy is the magnet, so draws inward. They invoke the priestess, the crone, the mother, the mermaid. They open the doorway to mystery. This is the time for sacred surrender, a time to listen, not speak, to feel, not force, to honor cycles rather than override them, and to grieve what has died, to sit by the symbolic waters of the soul and offer tears to the greater mystery. The wisdom of the lunar eclipse is not in what we do, but in what we allow. This is why eclipses' energy is often described as unstable or unpredictable. It does not respond to logic. It does not follow our plan. It follows a plan, but it may not be what we think it should be. It demands we trust the unseen, that we release the illusion of control and step into the flow of fate. So what are some things not to do during eclipse? Well, what not to do? And these are some eclipses and manifestation myths. So in modern spiritual circles, there's sometimes a tendency to treat every full moon as a time for ritual and manifestation. But a lunar eclipse is not the time to manifest. The energy is too volatile. It's too electric. It's too filled with cosmic static. So setting intentions under an eclipse is really like planting seeds in a hurricane. They won't grow as expected. They're cast every which way. Instead, eclipses are time to release, to clear the space, to listen for messages from your higher self or your guides. It's a time for shadow work, ancestral healing, dream interpretation, and emotional alchemy. If you feel raw or overwhelmed, it's not a sign you're doing something wrong. It's a sign the eclipse is working through you. A lunar eclipse is a powerful celestial event that occurs when the earth passes directly between the sun and the moon, and it casts its shadow over the moon. So this alignment only happens during a full moon, but not every full moon is an eclipse. Eclipses happen when the moon is near the lunar nodes, the points where the moon's orbit crosses the Earth's orbit around the sun. So let's talk about some spiritual and symbolic meanings of the lunar eclipse. Well, the lunar eclipse are often seen as cosmic checkpoints, sometimes when hidden truths are revealed and emotions are intensified and soul-level endings occur. So they represent completion and closure. A lunar eclipse symbolizes the accumulation of cycles, often bringing long-standing issues to a head. Sometimes you've outgrown emotionally, spiritually, mentally, or energetically. Those may be eclipsed out of your life. It's a time of emotional illumination because the moon rules our inner world, emotions, intuition, subconscious patterns. A lunar eclipse reveals what's been lurking in the shadows. It's time for it to come out and be seen. Emotions may surge at this time. Old memories, dreams, or grief may be brought to the surface in order for them to be healed and released. It's a time for sudden realizations or revelations. Lunar eclipses often bring insight, epiphanies that can feel abrupt but necessary. They actually have been rumbling down in the surface, but sometimes as humans, we're a little bit slow to get what it's all about. They help us break free of illusions or denials, offering clarity and truth. And they're about karmic endings and soul contracts. In both Western and Vedic traditions, eclipses are tied to karmic evolution. A lunar eclipse may signal the end of a karmic relationship, a habit, a belief, or a role, making space for rebirth or higher alignment. And the energetic characteristics of eclipses are heightened intuition, psychic senses become sharper, disruption of the norm, expect the unexpected. Eclipses interrupt regular flow in order to redirect you. We humans like to get off track. We like to avoid, but the eclipses keep us focused, and that moon illuminates where we need to be focused. Purging and releasing is important. The energy is ideal for letting go, even if it's uncomfortable. It's also a time for shadow work. The Earth's shadow literally casts onto the moon, and that invites us to confront our own shadows. It's being a mentor. It's modeling what we need to do. Some spiritual practices for the lunar eclipse are: don't think about manifesting. Instead, focus on releasing. Eclipses are not ideal for intention setting. They're about letting go. Journal or reflect on what's coming to an end. Cleanse your energy with water, sound, some sage. Trust the divine orchestration, even if things fall away suddenly. It's usually for your soul's higher growth. So a lunar eclipse is a soul initiating moment. It's not just a full moon. It's a portal of transformation, ushering in deep endings, spiritual awakenings, and karmic clearing. And it reminds us that before we can step into the new, we must first release the old, of course, with grace. This lunar eclipse on September 7th is powerful. Powerful enough that I wanted to devote a separate podcast to talk about the impacts on each sign. To get the most out of this information, you might want to listen to your sun sign and your rising sign. I took a focus look on how each sign might be impacted by awakening your hidden truths, guiding closure, inviting you into a deeper embodiment of your soul's sacred calling. So let's start with Aries. Well, the eclipse shines into your 12th house, Aries. That's the secret chamber of your soul. And this is a time of mystical surrender, karmic release, and healing behind the scenes. Dreams will speak louder than ever. You may be completing a cycle of self-undoing or releasing a subconscious pattern that has held you back for lifetimes. Pay attention to solitude, to rest, and what emerges when you let go of control. This is a spiritual purification, preparing you for a new era of leadership that begins with humility. Pisces teaches you to feel, to forgive, and float. And Taurus, this eclipse activates your 11th house of visions, communities, and future timelines. A dream, friendship, or collective cause may come to a karmic completion. You may feel disillusionment around a tribe or social circle you once cherished. Yet, the eclipse offers healing, a realignment with your soul-aligned community. Use this time to visualize the future you wish to birth. Your intuition is magnetic. What you feel now is already forming. Let the old dreams die so new constellations can form. And Gemini, this lunar eclipse floods your 10th house of career, public image, and soul mission. A chapter is closing. You may leave that job. You may redefine your role, or finally let go of an identity that no longer serves you. Yet, this is not a loss. It is liberation. Your soul is asking to be seen in a more authentic way. Pisces brings dreams, compassion, and creativity into your vocation. Listen deeply to your heart's true calling. The world needs your visionary voice. Honor what completes and prepare for a more intuitive path forward. In Cancer, your 9th house of beliefs, higher education, and spiritual philosophy is activated. A worldview, teaching, or spiritual path may come to a close, and you may experience revelations that change your understanding of truth. This is a time to release outdated dogmas and embrace universal wisdom. Travel, study, or publish. Those things may be involved, so let your soul soar beyond borders. The Pisces eclipse thins the veil. Your guides are near, and your next quest, well, it's being revealed. Be willing to leap into it with faith. And Leo, this eclipse touches your 8th house of death and rebirth, intimacy, and energetic merging. Deep emotional truths are rising. You may release old sexual wounds, inherited karma, or financial entanglements. This is a cycle of psychic death and soul rebirth. Pisces asks you to surrender control and let the tides carry what no longer belongs. Magic lies in your willingness to trust. Emotional intimacy is your initiation. Open to the healing that only comes through being vulnerable. And Virgo, well, the eclipse falls in your 7th house of relationships, mirroring back your soul's longing for unity. A karmic partnership may reach its sacred conclusion, or an old relationship dynamic may be alchemized into something brand new. This is not about blame or fixing. It's about transcending the illusion of separation. Pisces dissolves the boundaries between self and others, and you are learning to relate soul to soul beyond words and roles. Let forgiveness flow like water, and every ending is a prayer for peace. And Libra, in your 6th house, the eclipse activates themes of health and work and daily rituals. You are called to release perfectionism and the need to do it all. This is a recalibration of your nervous system. Your body speaks the language of your soul. Are you listening? Pisces invites sacred rest, holistic healing, and devotion to rhythm rather than routine. You may be completing a job or a healing journey. Allow yourself to slow down, simplify, and surrender to grace. And Scorpio, well, the Pisces eclipse flows into your 5th house of creativity, romance, and inner child joy. A project, a love affair, or creative identity may end, or it might transform into something different. But more than anything, this eclipse reawakens your heart. Scorpio, you are learning to create from a place of soul pleasure rather than survival. Surrender the need to be in control. Let your art, your laughter, and your love be your healing. Pisces reminds you that true power comes from presence, not performance. In Sagittarius, your 4th house of family, ancestry, and emotional roots is illuminated. A move, a family healing, or an ancestral release may occur. You are called to make peace with your past and create a sanctuary for your soul. The eclipse helps you clear the emotional debris and remember who you truly are beneath all of the conditioning and patterning that you've been imprinted upon. This is a time to mother yourself, honor your lineage while releasing its pain. Dream a new foundation built not on survival but on serenity. And Capricorn, this eclipse lands in your 3rd house of mind and voice and communication. Old ways of thinking dissolve. A story you've been telling yourself for years may suddenly fall apart. This is liberation. Pisces invites you to speak with intuition, not intellect. Surrender facts in favor of truth. You may receive messages from dreams, ancestors, or the divine. Writing, teaching, or speaking may shift into more mystical realms. Let your voice become a vessel of spirit. And Aquarius, your 2nd house of values, this is money and self-worth, is eclipsed. You are shedding scarcity and reclaiming soul prosperity. A financial cycle may end, yet the true wealth here is inner. Pisces teaches that abundance is an energy, not a number. You are being initiated into a higher relationship with resources, one that's based in trust and flow and spiritual value. Let go of what you cling to. Make space for what your soul truly needs. And Pisces, the eclipse is in your sign, illuminating your 1st house of identity and embodiment. This is your sacred rebirth. Who you thought you were is melting. An old version of you is dying so the true you can emerge. The healer, the mystic, the soul artist. You are shedding projections and reclaiming your essence. Pisces, you are the dream becoming form. This eclipse may bring profound awakenings, emotional releases, and new beginnings. Surrender fully to your own becoming. Now, this lunar eclipse in Pisces is a call to trust the unseen, to let the old dissolve and to honor your soul's whispers. It is a spiritual tide that cleanses the collective psyche, and how to navigate this best is ritualize release. Burn old letters, destroy them, get rid of them, clean out the things that just don't make sense in your life. Then journal what you are letting go. Allow yourself to cry. Water is your ally. Dream work. Keep a dream journal. Guidance comes in symbols. Meditate in nature. Let yourself merge with something that's greater than yourself. Forgive. Forgive yourself and others. Pisces holds space for all of it. And visualize, call in what you wish to feel, not control. This is the end of a karmic thread. Pisces is the end of a zodiac cycle. It challenges what we believe, what we think we know. The Pisces eclipse asks us to let it unravel with grace. And as the veil thins, remember you are infinite. You are held. You are already becoming the dream you once prayed for. Now, before I leave you today, I want to just go through the impacts of the solar eclipse, which happens in Virgo on September 21st. and how that might impact each zodiac sign. This solar eclipse is a very powerful one. Virgo archetype is I analyze, and the solar eclipse or the sun is about the masculine energy. And we know eclipses are powerful new moons. This one emphasizes the reset, the reorganization, the purification, and practical healing, where the full moon has brought up and illuminated those things that are in our pathway or the things that we need to release. This new moon is giving us that reset opportunity. It highlights where we need clarity, discernment, and new routines for our well-being and service. So the grand theme or the general themes of the Virgo eclipse includes the collective energy. It's a reset in health routines, work-life balance, and a relationship with Earth's rhythms. It's a time for shadow work and releasing those old habits, including perfectionism, self-criticism, and certainly overworking. It's gift activation. It's using healing rituals, daily practices that support the soul, that align us in that humanitarian efforts and being service-oriented, those things that have sacred purpose. All right, the impacts of this solar eclipse on September 21st, starting with Aries. Aries, this is in your 6th house, health, work, daily life. Some bullet points for you is it's a powerful reset in your wellness, your habits, and your daily schedule. It's time to release burnout and create sustainable rhythms. The best rituals for you are start a new sacred morning or evening routine. And Taurus, for you, the September 21st solar eclipse is in your 5th house, which is creativity, love, and joy. And this eclipse awakens your creative fire and heart-centered passions. Old fears around self-expression may fall away. And the best ritual for you is create something with your hands, art, music, or gardening. And Gemini, this September 21st solar eclipse is in your 4th house, home, roots, inner security. This brings change to home, family dynamics, or your inner sanctuary. Call to decluttering your space is loud and clear. This is about also healing ancestral patterns. And the best ritual for you is cleanse and bless your home with intention. And Cancer, the September 21st solar eclipse is in your 3rd house. And this is communication, mind, and siblings. It's a fresh start to how you communicate. And that includes writing or how you share your truth. You may release outdated thought patterns or harsh self-talk. And a best ritual for you is writing affirmations or intentions for clearer communications. And Leo, this September 21st solar eclipse is in your 2nd house, which is money, worth, and security. And this is about resetting around your finances, the resources, and your value or self-worth. It's time to align material goals with spiritual values, and your best ritual is ground in gratitude for what you already have. And Virgo, this September 21st solar eclipse is in your 1st house, which is your identity, your self, and renewal. This is your eclipse. It's a rebirth of identity and purpose, release of self-criticism and perfectionism. This is time to step into authentic service. And your best ritual is speak aloud, a vow of self-acceptance and new direction. And Libra, this September 21st solar eclipse is in your 12th house of spirituality, release, and rest. It's a hidden ending. It's making space for spiritual awakenings. It's about dreams and intuition and solitude that brings healing to you. Your best ritual is water meditation, or quiet retreat for release. Get into water. And Scorpio, this September 21st solar eclipse is in your 11th house, and this is about community, vision, and future. You may see a shift in friendships, communities, or long-term goals. Old alliances fade, making space for aligned soul connections that maybe fit and vibrate better in the energy that you are. Your best ritual is write a vision statement for your future self. And Sagittarius, this September 21st solar eclipse is in your 10th house of career, public roles. This is about a reset in your career path or public calling. Release outdated roles, step into your higher purpose, and a best ritual for you is setting intentions for the legacy you want to create. And Capricorn, September 21st solar eclipse is in your 9th house of wisdom, beliefs, and expansion. This is awakening around your beliefs, higher learning, or travel. Old dogmas dissolve and new teachings arrive. Best rituals for you are begin a study, a spiritual practice, or even a pilgrimage. And Aquarius, the September 21st solar eclipse is in your 8th house of transformation, shared resources. This is about deep renewal in intimacy, shared finances, and inner power. Release fears of loss or control. Allow yourself to step into this rebirth of empowerment. Your best ritual is a candle ceremony to release old fears and invite trust. And Pisces, this September 21st solar eclipse is in your 7th house, and this is partnerships and reflection. A new chapter in relationships, personal and professional. It's time to release karmic ties and invite balanced partnerships. And the best ritual for you is write down qualities of the relationship you want to call in. So in closure, in essence, this Virgo solar eclipse on September 21st asks every sign to strip away what is false, what is heavy, or what is cluttered, so that what is essential, sacred, and healing can be reborn and experienced. I'm Lori Wondra of Your Life Core, and thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening to Messages from the Universe. For information about Lori Wondra's current events or to schedule a private session, visit her website, yourlifecore.com. You can also subscribe to her monthly newsletter. Lori also shares inspirational and informational messages on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Thanks again for listening.